Hi, I just wanted to come on and read my book, The Wheel of Life by Shauna Aislinn. Inside there's a diagram. This is the Wheel of Life. Life moves in the shape of a wheel, much like a compass. Heaven lies in the north and hell to the south, titans and hungry spirits to the east, and man and animal to the west. Each represents a state of being. Heaven, the holy land where light exists. Hell, the pits where darkness dwells. The west, where ego and pride thrive and only pleasures and pains exist. And to the east, where power and greed rule. In the center lies you, in a cycle of desire, aversion, and ego. Heaven has been closed off from man. He has fallen far and can no longer see the light, so he dwells in the spaces between, going back and forth through the realms. A proper compass spins all the way around, not jumping back and forth between east, west, and south. As does a properly aligned soul weave its way all the way around. When you master your ability to exist in each realm without losing sight of the holy light of heaven, you unlock the wheel. Consciousness flows between each realm. Most travel in just one direction, not veering much from one path or another. Some live in a state of greed and hunger for power. Others live in a state where the ego rules, and others still exist in the darkest realm, doing the wickedest of things. But if you become aware of yourself, your emotions, your actions, and the reasons behind them, you begin to turn the wheel. And when you've turned the wheel, heaven will unlock itself to you, pure, holy being. Not right, not wrong, not light, nor dark, but balance. Once you have mastered your mind, it begins to exist in all realms. And if you are able to flow through them by keeping a good heart, you will sit with the gods in heaven. Knowing yourself is the only goal in life. To know your heart and why it beats for the things that it does, that is how you reach nirvana. God is you, and you are God. You hold the capacity to be everything He is, because you are Him and He is you, cut from the same cloth. God is a state of mind. He is not envy. He is not greed. He is peace and love personified. He is the glory in human form. See, God wasn't always good and just. He was judgmental and vengeful. He punished the many for the mistakes of the one, and though He offered forgiveness, He did not forget. He preyed on the fear of His people and demanded sacrifice, but He didn't yet understand. He didn't understand what it was like to be human, so He delved a plan to become like them. He took on a human form, and far did He fall. With no prior wisdom to guide Him, He allowed darkness to swallow Him up. He fell from heaven straight into hell, and over many lifetimes He remained there. He allowed hunger and greed to consume Him, allowed sin to gnash at His feet. He let power devour the light until He no longer remembered it. Darkness fell, and chaos consumed the world. Hunger and greed grew, and power swallowed up those who were meant to be leaders. The ones meant to guide humanity no longer had a light to follow, no longer had a voice, that inner knowing, to tell them wrong from right. They sought guidance in all the wrong places, following the dark and hiding sins in the night. They fell so far it was irreversible, and plague consumed the world. No longer did man strive for greatness. No longer did he seek out the good, and in place of it, evil had hardened their hearts. For when there is no light, there is darkness. Where there is no good, there is evil. One cannot exist without the other, and yet the darkness consumes. It swallows the light and repels it, just as man has come to consume gossip and heresy, and repel their fellow man. No longer does the heart try to understand. but puts up walls of concrete until the heart itself has been caged. Just as God rose up a wall to guard humanity from the darkness he knew would consume him. No longer could they access him as they had before, for only the spoken word would reach him. As you speak, you create, and creation is an act of God. It was many, many millennia before the Lord had learned his lessons, for life is but a lesson the heart is to learn, and the heart is not so easily cracked once hardened. Lifetimes upon lifetimes of lessons brought forth the smallest of sparks, and the Lord began to forgive. He began to understand, and in understanding we forget pain, for the pain becomes the lesson. When you understand, you can see, and what you see, you will understand, just as if you listen, you will hear. Every pattern has a voice, every voice a pattern. From darkness comes dark, and from light comes light. Many millennia passed before God learned his lessons, but when he did, he forgave. He forgave the sins of the weak, for he now knew what it was like to be weak. He forgave the darkness of those born into poverty and strife, for he now knew what each of them held in their hearts. He forgave it all and began a long journey back to the light. Once again, he was whole, balanced, but he'd seen how far man had fallen in his absence, seen firsthand what happened when there was no guiding light. He took his throne once more and began the work of healing. He sent many angels over millennia until a spark of humanity ignited. Though small, it was there in the children, their innocent hands. They wished upon stars, and those wishes he answered. He gave them his light, a piece of him to hold with them in the dark, and they led the way through the night. Lifetimes passed by, and the healing was slow. So many sick and injured deep down in their souls, the souls that he gave them in hopes they would thrive. Thrive they did not, and they began to misconstrue his teachings. No longer able to see or hear the word properly, no longer were they obedient, and he had to step in. He sent another round of angels to the children of man, but they rejected their light, for man now feared the light. They'd become so darkened, so hardened in their hearts, that the light scared them, and no longer could they follow God's lessons. Once more he sent the children, imbued with his essence, and with them humanity rose. But it was never enough to stifle the dark. It circled around humanity like a veil, and it kept them from hearing, seeing, and believing. Magic disappeared from the world, for magic is based upon belief. And no longer could man recall the ways of their ancestors. No longer could they access that heavenly gate. Among them was a soul, the darkest of souls there ever could be, and it danced in the darkness it consumed. It thrived in the dark, not fearing, but thriving. So he began to watch. The darkness consumed this soul, and yet it was inclined to light. It remembered the light, and God set that soul on a mission. Humanity rose and fell with the soul, not understanding how it could swim in the shadows, the places between light and dark, how it could dive into darkness and draw out the light while cradling the dark in its open arms. But the soul listened. It heard. It saw the patterns and grew from them until it could grow no more. Until it had collected so much wisdom it nearly surpassed God himself. Darkness said he couldn't have that, but the light whispered, watch, learn, listen, see, become. So the Lord watched the soul as it danced its way through lifetimes, rising from the ashes like a phoenix. For every curve God threw at it, it found the lesson beneath the pain. It grew from the darkest depths of hell, met the devil himself, and spit in the face of death. This soul was a fire like none he'd ever seen, for everything it touched turned to gold. So God began seeking. If there was one, there were many. But he found them far and few between. True understanding comes from the heart, and man was now led by his mind. The few souls he had gathered he held in high regard, and dubbed them the new wave that would crash over humanity. Not a flood, but a wave to usher in the light so that man may drink of it and become whole. Lifetimes passed by, and that wave went through, but the mind's eye was on fortune and fame, numbing the soul with substance and drink. So he sent another wave, an army of souls to help humanity remember, to remember a time before darkness fell, the good old days, and to usher in the golden age. Abundance would flow from every river of gold if only man could remember. That wave brought on a new age, the age of freedom and great leaders, the age of men who put up good above all, and for a time it looked like humanity was rising. Darkness fell again and brought confusion to the people. It brought arguments and power struggles as the people no longer loved one another. Mothers hurt their children, wounding those who held the spark, and left them with scars they couldn't heal, for no one had showed them the way. Fathers abandoned their duties and became consumed with greed. There were many who followed God's practices still, but they no longer mattered, for God now understood that rules to obey did not guide, but an example of the light did. He knew his own darkness and had learned every facet of its being, and so he knew the light just as well. That understanding, that knowing what it was like to be human, it saved them from punishment. Instead, he sent lessons, big and small, for man to learn, study, and grow. Every man has the capacity to grow, for every man holds a spark of the Holy Spirit, the light of God to guide them in the dark. More waves were sent and more lessons were learned, and slowly, so slowly, did man climb the ladder God had extended into hell. The children, they're the answer. They hold the light of God in their hearts from birth, for it is He who gives them the breath of life. They will usher in the new age, and they have. As the world has been distracted with choosing sides and delivering judgment unto their neighbors, the children have been doing the work, learning their lessons, finding the meaning of life, and they've won. They've proven to God that man is capable, man is strong, if only he allows himself to be. Reward will come to those who wait, those who are patient as the world finds its balance. An ego will drive man to that reward, but he will not receive it if he does not embody Christ, as the souls God chose to teach have. All have the capacity, no matter how far they have fallen. They have equal chance to rise. Choose light, do good, love one another, understand another point of view, and you will thrive. There are no promises, no covenants, no cruel punishment, only lessons, and those lessons can be learned by all. The wheel of life only turns once you have the key, and that key is inside all of you. You just have to find it. If the lesson is hard, the reward is great, and soon the key will appear to you, be it a word or a feeling, you'll know. You will know when you have entered nirvana, and if you're not sure, you still have lessons to learn. For nirvana is not a place, but a state of being. It is a state of true balance, the yin and the yang. True peace, true sovereignty, comes from a state of true balance. Light exists within the dark, and the dark within the light, but when they dance together, their life becomes a song. Breathe deeply, seek out the lesson, the good and the bad, and grow. That is all. Just grow. Grow, and you will find your key. You will unlock your kingdom and rise from the ashes into a state of pure bliss, a state of true abundance. You will be wealthy not in money, but in wisdom, and wisdom is the only thing that you can carry into death. Death is not the end, it is only the beginning, and it is nothing to fear. Enjoy your time here, do what you love, say what you have to say, be who you want to be, but do it in the light. And if darkness comes as rain clouds fly, remember the sun, for it is only hidden. The rainbow will guide you. Look for God there, and you will know that you follow the path of light. For a rainbow only comes after the rain has passed and the sun begins to shine again. Life was never meant to be a challenge this hard. It was meant to instill knowledge, to shape the mind so the heart may follow and then lead. For when you follow your heart, you seek truth, and nothing can stop you then. Remember to breathe deeply, for the breath is life itself, and feel deeply all the things that make your heart sing. Fortune comes to those who wait, those who are patient and kind, not in the form of coins or jewels, but in lessons and a good pliable heart. Life grows easy, not to those who reject the darkness, but to those who learn to dance in the flicker of candlelight until the flame becomes a beacon. Guide each other. It's all you are ever meant to do. Teach each other and strive for light. Help the sick, the lost souls who have fallen so deeply into life that they no longer can find the hidden lesson in the despair. Raise each other up, and you will earn your wings to fly like the birds in the trees. Nothing else matters, not the promises made or the covenants sealed, but to learn the lesson and grow. Growth takes time, and it will be slow, but we have finally stepped into the age of awareness, and no longer will man sleep. He will remember himself, for each of you is an angel cast down from heaven in search of wisdom. Seek truth, be brave, do what is right in your heart, and you will thrive. Abundance comes to those who wait, who listen and learn. Become the teacher, and your fellow man will follow you into the light. And if you misstep, don't fret. Take the lesson and move forward, for forward motion is the first key to turning the wheel of life. The wheel is always turning, spinning as all motion does. But to unlock the highest level, you must remember who you are. Not the name given to you by your parents, but who you are in your soul. Breathe deeply, and you will remember. And if any of this resonates with you, you're almost there. Not all will understand, for their hearts follow their minds. But enough of you have awakened to be the guiding light. Don't allow fear to consume you, for fear only creeps in when you doubt, when you don't trust your heart. Follow the yellow brick road, the golden path, whatever you must call it to thrive. Follow it, and you will find your heart. Stop fighting over religion. All are corrupt, for they have lost the true meaning of light and follow militant ways based on fear. If you must worship, worship, but no longer will you sacrifice for your God. No longer will you shed the blood of others to right the wrongs of the few. And that doesn't mean perfection. There will still be famine and strife, sickness and death, for that is life. These are the lessons given to nations that have allowed the darkness to consume them. Travel north, forward motion, and you will find your way to the light. A bright future awaits you, and the magic you once knew will return. Precious gems will charge you. Don't hoard them, but choose wisely. Listen for its call, and you will never choose wrong. The sun will ignite you. Spend time in nature and breathe. Always breathe. So many of you have forgotten that the breath is life, and to do so recharges the soul. Practice breath work. Breathe in for 6, hold for 3, exhale for 9. Inhale, hold, release. Life, purity, glory. In the breath, the light transmutes the dark. It pushes it aside and says, "Take my hand," for it will ground you in the darkest of depths. Breathe before you think, and think before you act. All the answers lie within your heart. You just have to seek them in the light. Not all will rise in abundance, for many remain trapped in cycles of greed, power, and ego. The blood spilled in the dark coagulates in the light of the day, just as the things you hide in the dark will show their true face in the light. Many have tapped into the darkness and called it home. Don't live there, release it. Life was never meant to be dark, but golden as the sun's rays. It sings for you when you sing for it. The world is a mirror of the mind, and the mind a map of the world. What you project, you perceive, and what you perceive, you digest. You are the mirror personified. The light shines through you and reflects itself into the world. In other words, you reap what you sow. You receive what you put out into the world. If you project negativity, negativity is all the mind will seek, all the eyes will see, and all the ears will hear. Project positivity, and so shall you receive it. Do kindness unto others, and they shall bestow kindness unto you. And if they do not, they are wounded. And we do not scorn the injured, we heal them. Project onto them your light, and allow it to reflect back to them their nasty ways. Only through self-realization will that reflection change. Slay the beast inside, and you shall emerge triumphant. This is not to say darkness won't creep into your life, for where there is light, there is also dark. The darkness brings a lesson, and instead of crying out, reflect. What is this teaching me? Even the wave holds monsters, for the wave is as dark as the sun is bright. They met their dragons and tamed them, taught the darkness to obey the light, and in doing so, they became free. Transmute the dark, don't hide from it, but face it head on. You will always win if you take the lesson for what it is. The wheel itself is the turning of the mind, the way it flows through each realm. While most live in one direction, each has the ability to spin. Turn the wheel and you change your mind, and when your mind changes, you rise. Heaven is a state of being. As the heavens exist above, so does your mind. Master it, and you will rise into the heavens, where light transmutes dark and abundance flows like a stream of pure gold. Just as hell is a state of mind, you live in hell when you allow the darkness to guide you. Fear, pain, trauma, they were never meant to be your guides, but your lessons. The more darkness you allow to take hold inside of you, the deeper you will fall. But the farther you fall, the higher you rise when you finally decide to reach for that spark. Do good unto others and give yourself space to learn. Give yourself grace, for with grace is the way you are meant to walk through life. So long as you remain in the light, you will thrive. Be pure of heart, be brave, and find your strength in the wisdom you have gained, the lessons you have learned. Don't ever stop reaching for the light, the holy flame that guides your heart. For when you stop holding space for it, the darkness will consume it and snuff it out. Remember to understand, everyone has their own point of view, for we all exist within different realms on the wheel of life. Remember the darkness projects negativity, and always search for that seed of light. For it is with that seed in which you will grow and reap a bountiful harvest. Master each realm, and heaven will open its gates for you hold the key inside you. The spark of light, the Holy Spirit, is the key of all keys. Embody it, embrace it, and it will show itself to you. Keep to the light, and you shall triumph over the darkest of nights. Teach others, guide them with your wisdom. Share your darkness so that others might find the seed in the pitch. The wheel has turned. Heaven is upon us, and it will transmute the darkness that has befallen the world. Slowly but surely, you have made it to the promised land, and others will follow your light. May you always find purpose in the things that eat you, and delight in knowing you are free. Thanks for watching.